Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating, brilliantly structured historical artifact from a 1969 high school graduation. Okay, let's dive right in, because what we're looking at today isn't your typical run-of-the-mill, follow-your-dreams valedictorian speech. It's an absolute masterclass in rhetorical structure and audience engagement, all hidden inside a stack of typed paper. So here's the central question we're exploring today. How does a high school senior deliver a deeply religious sermon at a public, secular graduation in 1969 and actually keep the entire audience absolutely captivated? I mean, it takes sheer boldness to step right up to a public school microphone and use a clever narrative reveal to share a personal faith. It definitely takes guts, but more importantly, it takes brilliant pacing. To set the stage, let's go back to June 6, 1969, at the Seattle Opera House. The speaker is Pearson. He's a senior, a football player, and a member of Youth for Christ, and he's addressing his graduating class at Queen Anne High School. What's so incredible about this is exactly how he navigates the tension of delivering a faith-based message in a public school setting. He relies entirely on the art of storytelling to keep his audience hooked. Section 1. The Setup. Just a man. Right out of the gate, Pearson pulls off a completely brilliant rhetorical move. He disarms the crowd by intentionally stripping away any majestic or divine context. He says, take a man, just a man, not a very rich man, not a very handsome or strong man. By doing this, he's basically asking his peers to picture someone right there alongside them, just in the trenches of normal life. He maps out a highly relatable progression. He asks the audience to picture a boy who skins his knees and builds secret hideouts, who grows up to blister his hands as an apprentice, working with crude tools, and eventually sweats with common people and pays his taxes. He's completely cementing the deep humanity of his subject before he even thinks about making his big move. Now, the communication technique he uses to drive this timeline forward is super fascinating. Pearson uses the repetition of the phrase, let him, as this rhythmic, almost hypnotic drumbeat. By constantly saying, let him do this, or let him experience that, he actually puts the audience right in the director's chair, pulling the listener deeper and deeper into the story. In the original typed pages, you can literally see this repetition building the foundation of a humble, everyday worker. Let him live a simple life. Let him wear simple clothing. The repetition lulls the audience into a really comfortable rhythm, ensuring they're fully invested in this ordinary man's story. But, as you might guess, a major turn is coming. Which brings us to Section 2, the escalation, the divine pivot. Okay, here is where the tone really begins to shift. Pearson smoothly escalates the narrative, slamming these grounded human attributes like sweating and having blistered hands right up against sudden, miraculous claims. All of a sudden, this ordinary carpenter is healing the sick, raising the dead, and being called the King of Kings. And the absolute crucial point is this exact phrase, now picture this man as God. This acts as the hinge of the entire speech, where the reveal finally crystallizes for his 1969 audience. All that human grounding he just spent minutes building up is suddenly recontextualized. He drops the veil. If we examine the manuscript itself, Pearson subtly shifts to capitalizing the word him. It's a visual and rhetorical cue signaling the divine nature of his subject. Let him be the servant. Let him heal beggars. It's a tiny shift on paper for sure, but in spoken delivery, it marks a profound elevation in reverence and importance. Pearson smartly frames the subject's actions, like washing feet, teaching outcasts like prostitutes and drunkards, and challenging authority by turning over tables, as totally radical. Think about the era for a second. It's 1969. The counterculture movement is massive. Presenting this figure as a revolutionary who champions the marginalized likely resonated very, very strongly with his graduating peers. Moving into Section 3, the climax, rejection and sacrifice. Here, the pacing perfectly mirrors Pearson's rapid, dramatic acceleration toward ultimate suffering. That rhythmic, let him drumbeat, it takes a dark turn. He uses vivid, harsh imagery to depict societal friction, commanding the audience to let the religious leaders call him a devil and let the soldiers spit in his face. He's keeping the audience completely locked into the escalating drama. The intensity peaks right here. In a really cool detail, on the original manuscript, Pearson actually hand-wrote the word yell over a crossed-out word right before crucify him. You can practically see his thought process as a writer, actively trying to inject the line with even more raw power and visceral energy for the live delivery. This is the ultimate paradox he constructs for the audience, a king whose crown is thorns and whose throne is an instrument of execution. It's the sheer culmination of all that contrasting imagery he's been weaving since the very beginning of the speech.
And finally, section 4, the conclusion, Pearson's final message.
For this final rhetorical move, Pearson does something incredibly bold. Actually, scratch that. It's downright fearless. He drops the historical storytelling entirely and points the microphone directly at his graduating peers. The language shifts abruptly from the third-person him to the direct personal you. By saying, "and let him die so that you can live," he instantly bridges a 2,000-year historical gap. He ends with this final command, completely transforming the speech from a biographical reveal into a direct, deeply personal call to action. But most important, humble yourself and give him everything you have. He literally waited until the very last second to reveal his ultimate purpose for the speech. So what should we take away from this artifact? Well, it's that the real power of communication isn't just in what you say, but structurally how you reveal it. Pearson's use of pacing, his hypnotic repetition, and that careful escalation from a relatable carpenter to a divine figure is an absolute masterclass in holding a diverse audience's attention. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. If you were tasked with sharing your deepest, most controversial conviction with a diverse crowd, how would you structure your reveal? How can we use structure, pacing, and narrative to make our own ideas undeniably captivating? Thank you so much for exploring this remarkable piece of rhetorical history with me today.